You know that feeling when your day is so packed you don't even have time to breathe, but somehow by 10 p.m., you realize you didn't move an inch toward the things that actually matter to you? I used to live like that, constantly sprinting from one urgent thing to another, telling myself I was being productive, but in reality, I was just reacting. Emails, messages, problems, notifications, and when you live like that for long enough, you start to confuse movement for progress. It wasn't until I learned about this little tool called the Eisenhower Matrix that things started to click. A concept so simple, I almost ignored it at first. But if you apply it properly, it's one of the most powerful ways to get clarity, reduce stress, and focus on what genuinely moves your life forward. It all started with one question that President Dwight D. Eisenhower used to ask himself: what is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. And that hit me because I realized most of my day was filled with stuff that screamed urgent, but almost none of it was important. So, what is the Eisenhower Matrix really? Imagine a square divided into 4 boxes, the classic 2x2 grid. On one side, you've got important and not important. On the other, urgent and not urgent. And this simple little framework helps you separate noise from meaning, stress from substance. Let's break it down through a story. A couple of years ago, I met someone, let's call him Alex. Alex had just gotten promoted into a management position. He was ambitious, energetic, but also perpetually exhausted. Every day was chaos, his calendar was full, his inbox overflowing. He kept saying, I just need to get through this week, but that week never ended. He'd finish late at night, look at his to-do list, and realize nothing truly important moved forward. One afternoon, after yet another long day of firefighting, he hit a wall. He Googled how to prioritize when everything feels important and stumbled upon the Eisenhower Matrix. So he sat down, drew a little square on a sticky note, and started sorting his to-dos into 4 quadrants. And for the first time, he saw the pattern. Quadrant 1, urgent and important. Deadlines, crises, things that demand your attention now. These are the must-do tasks that keep the lights on. Quadrant 2, important but not urgent. These are the game changers: planning, strategizing, learning, exercising, building relationships, working on your dreams. The very things that shape your future. But since they aren't screaming for attention, they often get postponed. Quadrant 3, urgent but not important. Emails, interruptions, scheduled but unnecessary meetings. These tasks borrow your time without giving anything back. And Quadrant 4, not urgent, not important. The black hole of mindless scrolling, endless distractions, comfort activities that feel like rest but don't truly rejuvenate you. When Alex saw where his time went, he realized he was living almost entirely in Quadrant 1 and 3, reacting to life instead of directing it. So he made one rule: every day before opening Slack, before checking email, he'd dedicate 1 uninterrupted hour to Quadrant 2, important but not urgent tasks. Planning, deciding, creating. At first it was tough. His phone buzzed, messages came in, and guilt tried to pull him back into the flood of urgent things. But slowly, that 1 hour a day changed everything. He became more intentional. Crises started shrinking because he was planning ahead. His stress lowered, and ironically, he got more done by doing less. That's the power of working from Quadrant 2. Let's make this personal for you. Where do you live most of the time? Quadrant 1, always at the edge of a deadline. Or maybe Quadrant 3, busy but not really fulfilled. See, the magic happens when you deliberately design your life so that you spend most of your energy in Quadrant 2, because that's where deep progress happens, not overnight, but over time. Now I want to share something I've learned from using this tool myself. The enemy of clarity is noise, the constant barrage of urgent tasks and obligations that trick your brain into thinking they matter. And most of our stress, it isn't from doing too much, it's from not knowing what's truly worth doing. The Eisenhower Matrix clears that up. Here's how you can start today. Step 1. Do a mini time audit. Tomorrow, just track what you actually spend your time on. No judgment, no pressure. At the end of the day, drop each activity into one of the 4 quadrants. Step 2. Reflect. Ask yourself, which of these made me feel calm and accomplished, and which left me drained or frustrated. You'll probably find that the stuff that makes you proud lives in Quadrant 2, while the chaotic stuff pulls you back into Quadrant 1 and 3. Step 3. Apply the 4 Ds. If it's urgent and important, do it right away. If it's important but not urgent, schedule it. If it's urgent but not important, delegate or defer it. And if it's neither, delete it guilt-free. And the real key here, Protect your important work like it's sacred, because it is. When you put time on your calendar for exercise, deep work, learning, or reflection, treat it like a meeting with your future self. Don't cancel on that version of you just because someone else needs something right now. I like to think of it like gardening. Quadrant 1 is weeding, necessary but constant. Quadrant 2 is planting, those small, quiet seeds that take time to grow. Quadrant 3 is when neighbors keep asking you to help with their garden. And Quadrant 4, that's sitting inside watching other people's gardens on YouTube. You get to decide where you spend your time, and here's the beautiful part. Once you start making Quadrant 2 your priority, life doesn't just feel more productive, it feels lighter. The panic fades, the burnout eases. You start building momentum instead of chasing it. You can feel the difference. Instead of starting the day with anxiety, what disaster do I have to deal with today? You start it with intention. What can I move forward today that will matter a year from now? For me, that mindset shift changed everything. When I began scheduling time for the important but not urgent, my creativity exploded. I started learning faster, thinking deeper, and genuinely enjoying the process of working again. Because I wasn't just reacting anymore, I was choosing. Imagine your own life 1 year from now if you applied this consistently. You wake up without the stress spiral. You know exactly what you're focusing on. And instead of just surviving your days, you're deliberately shaping them. That's the freedom the Eisenhower Matrix offers. So whenever you feel overwhelmed, like the world's spinning too fast, pause, grab a sheet of paper, draw that little box, and just ask yourself, is this urgent or is this important? Then build your day around the answer. Because the truth is, your career breakthroughs, your creativity, your calm, they don't come from hustling harder. They come from focusing deeper, from being intentional about where your time goes. Dwight Eisenhower managed wars and presidencies with this method. Surely we can manage our inboxes and ambitions a little better too. So here's your challenge. Today, choose one Quadrant 2 activity and give it real space in your day. Whether it's journaling, planning your goals, learning something new, start small, but start now. Because those tiny, quiet choices, they're what lead to the loudest transformations. When you focus on what truly matters, you don't just make your days productive, you make them meaningful.